Are you a teacher who is constantly looking out for different methodologies to teach vocabulary to the students? Are you someone who is constantly struggling with the students so that they can learn new words and build up their vocabulary? If yes, then this video is for you. I will be talking about 5 different strategies that you can use in your classrooms to support learners to develop their own vocabulary bank. Now, before I talk about those strategies, I want you to reflect. I want you to think, what are the methods that you have been using in your own classrooms? And how many words would you like your learners to learn? Now, when I say how many words, are you really thinking about the quantity? And the answer is, to enhance vocabulary, it is imperative that the students are able to apply those words and not just rote learn the meaning of those words. Think about this. So let's talk about the first strategy that has worked for so many people and will definitely work for you. You must have already heard about introducing a new word to the students, putting it on the board, or making it visually appealing, if I can say, for the students. Just displaying it somewhere where the students can actually see. In addition to this, when you actually introduce a new word, it is very important that you also use that word in different contexts. In one of my videos, I've already talked about meaning, form, and pronunciation. In order to introduce a new word, it is very important that teachers make sure that students are using the drilling techniques. In my previous video, when I talked about pronunciation, in speaking activities, I mentioned drilling in a lot of detail. It'll be a good idea if you watch that video. So when you drill with students, you're actually reinforcing the pronunciation. They're actually using that word and they're listening to their own sound, their own pronunciation. So once you introduce a word, now you can introduce the word through the textbook if you want. Maybe you have read something, right? And maybe the students are trying to figure out what it is. Now, as a teacher, never give out the meaning right there and then. Let them think. Let them figure out the meaning through the context clues. And when I say context clues, it means let them read a sentence above and a sentence below that word and figure out the meaning. Let them struggle a little bit. I do understand that you are limited in time. You can't let them figure out meaning for every single word they come across. But at least for a word, it is important. So whatever word, maybe you've come up with that word from the textbook. Maybe it's something that is going on currently and you want to introduce that word to the students. Think about the number of words. Start off with 5 words a week. So maybe you come to the class, you put that word on the board or display it on a bulletin board, on a chart paper if you want. Let the students actually see that word, use it in their verbal communication, and also encourage them to use it in their written communication. Now that word needs to stay there so that all the teachers, if you have a school where the teachers are coming to the classrooms instead of the students going around, it's easier. Because when the other teachers would come, they would look at the word and they would also use that word. So what is happening? Constant drilling is happening. All the teachers who walk into the classroom are looking at that word, they are talking about that word, not really explaining the meaning, but are using it in a sentence. So every week there are at least 5 words that the students are aware of. Please remember, it is important for teachers to drill vocabulary into the students rather than just giving them the quantity, rather than just saying, oh, learn 20 words this time. Now, when you do this, you can also have spelling tests by the end of the week. So all those 5 words. You can make sentences out of those words and ask the students to write those as a spelling test. So it's not important that spellings are only tested for single words. You could also ask them to write sentences, right? So introducing a word without giving the meaning, letting them understand the meaning in different contexts, using that word inside the classroom beyond the classroom, during their break time, after school is important. The second strategy is introducing something called my world of words. Now, this is something that I already spoke about, and I talked to the parents about this, and I said, if you do that at home, definitely the students, their kids' vocabulary is going to get better. How do you use that in class? There's an extra notebook or maybe a notepad. The student can, decorate it a little bit and call it my world of words. And in that mini dictionary, the student keeps on writing every word that the student finds interesting. So they write the word, they write the meaning, and then they can also write a little sentence. And that mini dictionary can be used when the students give their presentations, when they're involved in discussion with their peers or maybe group work. They can also use that mini dictionary when they're doing their creative writing, when they're writing essays, their stories. Encourage them to use those words. The third important thing is introduce them with a reward system. So if you feel that, certain student has used those words in written expression and verbal expression, maybe put their names on the board or on the chart paper or the bulletin board where the name can be seen. Encourage the students. The fourth strategy is introducing the concept of dead words. Now, dead words is something that I have been constantly talking about. Words that have lost their importance but are still used. So word like said, good, bad, a lot, very. Encourage your students to use synonyms of those words. Spend a lesson, maybe not a complete lesson, a mini lesson, as I say at the beginning of the classroom, talking about dead words, talking about better words rather than just saying good. If they're writing a story, you can encourage students to, instead of writing said all the time, you can encourage students to use a few words for said. So screamed, shouted, whispered, uttered, all these different words. And you can put them on the board and use them as their classroom language. The fifth important strategy is to recycle vocabulary. I will definitely do a video in which I will talk about the games, the activities that you can use in your classrooms, and the techniques how you can actually recycle vocabulary. Now, what do we mean by recycling vocabulary? It simply means that you are able to remind students of the words that they had been using. Again, contextual examples are important. It is important that students remember and are able to connect to those words. Just by the teacher standing up and giving explanation of a word does not encourage students to use that word. Remember, vocabulary development is a process. It's not the quantity, it's the quality that we as teachers should be building in our students. Just imagine if you're introducing 5 words a week. How many words will you be introducing by the end of the year or maybe by the end of the term? Make this process a fun process for the students. And think about enhancing their expression. So maybe at the beginning you start looking at words. Then you build their level and you talk about idioms, idiomatic expressions, while you are constantly on the lookout of dead words. Think about using these strategies. In your comments, write down which one worked for you. And also share any idea that you have that has worked for you as a teacher. I would be very happy to read your comments. Thank you so very much for watching this video, and I hope it has been beneficial to all the teachers out there. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can watch all the videos and find out more strategies that would definitely work for you in your classrooms. I will see you all very soon again. Like the video, share the video with all those out there who would benefit. And remember, you are responsible for all the students out there. Till we see each other again, take good care of yourselves, smile, be happy. Thank God you're the blessed ones, because you are creating a difference in so many lives. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll meet each other very soon.